Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia Jackson. I am a licensed professional counselor, and today's video is about trauma and how it affects how you see the world and how you interact with the world around you. So this is the fourth video in my series of trauma. Of course, trauma affects you in a multitude of ways. But wanted to just kind of simplify it in this way, just for YouTube's sake. And as I know, we got limited attention spans and all that wonderful jazz. But want to also be responsible, of course, in how I'm communicating this information. And want to be sensitive to you who may be watching this information, because you yourself may have experienced childhood trauma, or your loved one has, and you're trying to understand them a little bit better. And so if you haven't watched the videos before, and even if you have, just as a reminder, of course, if you have experienced childhood trauma, then you are navigating the world through survival mode. You are constantly in a stage of fight, flight, and freeze. And I have to say it in the pause, because if you try to say those three words fast, a lot of things happen. So fight, flight, and freeze, meaning that you are in a space of constantly like hypervigilance, cautious, very reluctant, very not, don't trust a lot of things. And so that is, of course, how you see the people in your life, but even the world just could be just a dangerous place. And depending on how people responded to your trauma, if it wasn't validated, if there wasn't like a loved one who come to as an aid, as a in the trauma world called other, like if someone hasn't come in to be a surrogate for you, a loving mother-like person, or a coach, or someone at your church, or an extended family member hasn't come along to be there for you, it could really feel truly like you have to constantly protect yourself from others. You'd be very enclosed, very secretive, very just not trusting others. You don't trust that people will accept you, because honestly you haven't really truly known who you are to even accept you, so you don't really trust others to do that as well. And so then you also view the world as just a very negative, dangerous place where bad things happen, and you work overtime to protect yourself from the world, the systems at large, which could lead to a lot of beliefs in conspiracy theories, and I know that's an extreme, and at the same time it's a reality. Now I want to validate some things in this video, just so we know, and that this world, there are dangers in this world, right? So there are true and real dangers in this world that we are all aware of, correct? And so those, of course, reinforce that childhood trauma and those experiences that we do go through, because it's a real thing, okay? And so these things that we do cope with through living this life, are real, dangerous, and even traumatic things. If you think about 9/11, a lot of the mass school shootings, these are all traumatic events that are real in our world. And a person who has experienced trauma, this just reinforces that in a very real, compounding way that makes you more enclosed, more detached, wanting to be more detached, more and even dissociative, in your experiences, wanting to live in a reality or fantasy world that is not real, but a place that you go to escape, to escape from the pain that has been your experience here in the world. And so that it's truly, definitely a part of how people who experience childhood trauma navigate through the world. Often don't do it in a present way. Don't do it in a way that is, when I say present, I mean vulnerable, and where they're engaging in themselves. They're either performing. They feel they have to do so in order to survive, to be accepted, to even get their needs met, whether it is performing in a certain way so that they don't lose their job, so that they don't be in a situation where they are in a space where it could be very triggering for them, because poverty and the system surrounding poverty definitely is traumatic. Okay, we're talking about basic needs not being met, and of course, if people are in survival mode, which we do see a lot in our cities, in this world, people do tend to result into maladaptive behavior in order to survive. Okay, that is the name of the game, and we are that is how our brains operate. Survival is first. Okay, survival is first, and so people who have experienced a lot of trauma, they do feel oftentimes threatened, truly threatened by others in their lives, because they constantly feel like their worth is being questioned, their worth is being invalidated, and there's risk in that, very huge risk. And they, because the feeling of it is so big, because oftentimes, unfortunately, because trauma is very painful to process, it is not easy. That's why therapeutic work is so important, and that you find a responsible therapist who is trained in it is so important, because that process is not easy. I have to be honest with you, but it is so valuable. It's so valuable and important, because when you have a sense of self that is so fragile because of the trauma you've experienced, not many experiences have reinforced your worth and value as a human being, right? And so you navigate the world from a place where you're always seeking validation, especially, and we see this a lot on social media, and that is why I'm a champion. I'm a champion. I get a little testy. There are a lot of memes out there that try to stigmatize those who need validation, and often those people who are seeking it often is because they didn't have it. They didn't have it as a child, and it's not their fault. Not saying that it is a place that is healthy to navigate. It's actually pretty dangerous, and the reason why I'll say it's dangerous is because we all are navigating this world through the way we survive and protect ourselves and protect those in our lives, and sometimes that doesn't always mean that we are in our best self. And so because of that, people who are experiencing childhood trauma, who have experienced it, and they're navigating the world seeking and looking and trying to get that validation, and then they encounter somebody who's maybe not had their best day, and it is triggering for them, and then they are transported back to that space of trauma in their childhood. And so they have to find a way to soothe it. And oftentimes, soothing it can be very, very dangerous. Oftentimes, and it's often in ways of self-sabotage, where it can be dangerous. And that's why self-sabotage, not to say and not to stigmatize self-sabotage behaviors, it's truly just soothing the pain that you're experiencing from the trauma that you experienced and that you went through. So you ways that what that looks like It's self-harm, substance use, suicide attempts, threatening suicide, to in relationships, or maybe even on social media. You might see individuals who are posting, very volatile information. They're posting things like, "No one cares about me. I'm just going to end it all." Things like that, and it's because they've been triggered. So and their sense of self is not secure because no one secured it for them. No one secured it for them. And so the hard part about trauma, and you're like, what you said thus far isn't hard. It's not to say that isn't true. I guess I should specify by saying the hardest part about trauma truly is and truly, I have to validate this, is unfair. It's just truly unfair that oftentimes you're looking for the outside world because the pain, right, came from the outside world. Okay, you're looking for the outside world to heal it. You're looking for the outside world to validate you where you weren't validated. You're looking for the outside world to give you what you didn't get. You're looking for the outside world to fix it. And truly, it is in therapy, you grow to find and learn that you yourself have to do the validation. You yourself have to spend time with your child-like part, your child who's carrying that, your inner child who's carrying that pain, and validate it. You yourself have to do that work, and that is unfair. It's unfair. I have to, hands down, unfair. And at the same time, it is a part of the process and how you navigate that. And you have to have a safe space in order to do that. And that's why of course, I'm a therapist, so I'm a champion of therapy. But also my hope and my prayer is that there are people in your life who are providing a safe space for you, to give you compassion and patience to grow through the trauma that you experienced as a child, to help you definitely have a secured sense of self. Okay, so truly how trauma can affect how you see and interact with the world is that you truly one, are leery. You're leery of the world. You don't trust it. You're cautious. You might be, again, very maybe even more prone. I won't say just because you experience childhood trauma that you embrace conspiracy theories, because the world is a dangerous place, and sometimes conspiracy theories are how, in the development of them, are how people navigate this dangerous world. So there is no stigma or judgment in that. I want to make sure that you're hearing me with that. But because the world is again, like, reinforcing that childhood trauma that you've experienced, that could definitely be a part of how you survive the world. And then you're also looking for the world to heal it. You're looking for the world to fix it. You're looking for the world to make it right. Or you are very upset with the world and you are deciding maybe that you don't want to be a part of this thing that everybody's participating in, and so you participate in some maybe maladaptive behaviors where you may turn to crime, or to risky behaviors, to delinquent behaviors, because you're like, I'm upset, this isn't right, this isn't fair, which I validated earlier, and I'm not going to participate in this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to sign up for work and do this, because we already said, like, adulting is not for the weak. So just imagining the person who didn't get what they needed as a childhood. They didn't get to go, the freedom to go and play outside on the swing set and play video games and have an active imagination, explore their talents and gifts, and draw and bring drawings to their parents and say, oh my goodness, look at that, and that's so beautiful, and they put it on their refrigerator, and they're so proud of their child. They didn't get that. They didn't get the experience of dance recitals and building a gift and building and having that gift nurtured by their parents and getting that wonderful adoration. Good job. They didn't get that, and so now they're upset. They're upset, and they're looking for the world to correct it. Looking for the world to correct it, or they're like, this isn't right. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not going to adhere to your social norms. I'm not going to adhere to what you feel I should do. I'm going to do what I want to do, because I never got to do that. I never got to be free. I never got to engage with the world in the way that I wanted to. I had to engage with the world in the way that I needed to in order to survive. I am putting a pause there because I feel like it's needed. Because could you just imagine the amount of pain that a person has to be in order to be there and be at that place, either place. So I beseech you, those who have not experienced childhood trauma, to just please pack on some and dispense patience and compassion to those who may be seeking validation at times, and may be really wanting that and needing that, because you never know what they've experienced. Not to say that you become responsible for providing them validation, but just having compassion with them, and maybe sitting with them and having and asking some thought-provoking questions with them, to maybe even be more inclined to being open to talking to someone about their experiences. It's truly how we learn and how we grow. Someone sits and talks with us, or we get fed up with how we're engaging with the world, and we want to be different. If any information, as I have stated through the videos in this series, if any information has been triggering for you, has been made you uncomfortable, please do some grounding exercises. Grab onto some soft, comforting things, whether it's a blanket, a teddy bear. Smell some soothing smell, whether it's citrus, eucalyptus, lavender, lemongrass is my favorite, and also go for a walk. Just do some deep breathing, and re-engage yourself with where you are in the here and now, to help out. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video, share as always, and subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel, please. Pretty please. I really want you to. I mean, just do it. I have a lot of people, I'm looking at my data, like a lot of people watch my videos, but they don't subscribe to my channel. I don't know, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to build it. Anything that you feel like I should improve on, definitely let me know. Thank you so much. And until next time, peace.